What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Jedi Jive. My name is Mike. Joining us, as always, is my sister Jenny.
Hey, guys.
We're coming at you with a reaction to the finale to Season 2 of
Woohoo!
Loki. You know what I'm going to tell you? I feel like Loki Season 2 has probably been one of my favorite TV shows that we've done in the last couple of years.
I agree.
It's just been, in terms of consistency and hitting on all possible levels that it can hit on. It's the music, the cinematography, the acting, the writing, the concepts,
the aesthetics,
how it's potentially going to affect moving forward in the MCU and that narrative and all that. It's just been just as good, if not better, than Season 1.
I think this was even better than Season 1 by far.
And we really liked Season 1. So, I mean, we've had a lot of, we've really run the gamut of like shows that were like, not so good, and shows that were really good, and we've seen it all. So this was definitely up there with one of my favorites.
This has been one of my favorites for sure. And even just rewatching this past week's episode, there was so much in there that either like escaped my notice or that I hadn't had time to fully process the first time around. There were so many things, and I just went, this is so rich. This is so densely packed. Yeah,
we pointed out last week that they really set Loki up to be the god of stories, and he has a unique time traveling ability now that kind of enables him to time slip at will, and he's like his own personal temp pad within himself. And now that he can go back to this the loom melting down moment, he could potentially relive that moment infinite times. We don't know how this episode is going to play out, but it kind of seemed like the situation was going to be that Loki was probably going to have to like decide to go himself and like risk being spaghettified himself. But we think that he's either immune to spaghettification because he's Loki, and for whatever reason he's that god of stories.
Or that he can control it in some way.
For the same and either that or he's going to use magic to magic to control it. So
we're going to have to find out.
It's pleasant to see that it's a 59-minute, like basically an hour episode.
Nice, so meaty episode.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're getting a finale that's going to have a lot, because we that's something that we say a lot. We're like, oh, why couldn't the finale be like, just put all that extra in there. But hey, guys, let's jump in. Let's have some fun, and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Let's do it.
Okay. How many times are we going to see this moment in this episode?
Back.
You okay?
Yes. We have to get Tiny out there.
Come on, let's go.
Come on, let's move.
Why was he just standing there? What? I thought he wanted to stop him.
It wasn't me. Obi.
Is he dead?
What could we have done differently?
Good question.
Oh, okay.
We took too long.
He's gonna try it over and over and over again. Keep failing, and
Okay.
no, you gotta just do it yourself.
Come on, follow me.
Let's keep moving. Let's go faster this time. Time to be brave. Ready? This time.
Yep.
Okay.
They're going to make us keep watching it.
Listen.
Get in, get suited up, get down the gangway as fast as you can. Load the multiplier, hit the green button, launch it, and get back. Okay? Let's keep moving.
No, Loki, no.
I wasted time, and now time wastes me.
Quoting Shakespeare.
Again.
Ugh.
Oh my goodness.
Again.
They're just completely normalizing this horrifying
I know, with the
thing.
music too.
Oh. God.
Wow.
Again.
Everyone, Victor, this model is not finished, okay? There's only one coat of paint on this.
Okay, it doesn't matter how fast he does it.
No.
It stays the same. He has to do it himself.
But it's going to take some time to adapt my throughput multiplier.
How long?
Depends. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Obi, how long will it take me to know everything that you know about mechanics, physics, and engineering? Let's assume I don't know
Nothing.
much, but I'm a fast learner, and I'm a god.
And technically he has forever. It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
How long would it take?
Decades.
Centuries.
Better get to work.
Centuries later.
Are you serious?
Are you messing with us?
Skills, but Tommy, need you this way.
Literally centuries later, come on.
In this fine, whatever you do do not set the multiplier down, it will roll off the gangway. Okay? Don't forget.
Because that's definitely happened at least a couple times.
The rings. Rings are too small. We're gonna make them bigger. Let's go.
Better watch out, OB. Looks like
Someone's coming for your job. That's right.
It's Groundhog Day. Yeah, he knows every detail.
Mr. Timely's ready.
I know.
This all seems a bit rushed.
All right.
It's gonna be the exact same thing, just spaghettification. After centuries of trying to perfect
Preparation,
it.
yeah.
Same thing. Oh, okay.
He's made it a couple steps before, though.
Oh, yeah, he did say, don't set it down, it'll roll off, so he has made it to this point.
Oh my god, it's a long gangway.
One foot in front of the other.
That would be.
You'll be at the end of the gangway.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, this is awful.
Oh my god, it's like one more step.
Right.
Hit the button.
Listen to me carefully. Hit the green button. It can be a little sticky.
The green button.
Oh, he did it?
Yes!
Get back. Get back. Yes, come back.
Holy shit. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Well, that's... How did you do that? Alright, so what's the catch?
Look at this. It worked.
It's like not what I was expecting.
Not at all.
It worked.
What's the catch?
I know, I'm so waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Wait,
What?
Yeah.
these readings are off.
That's not possible.
Hmm.
It's not possible.
Because more and more and more branches are branching.
But there's just too many branches.
Yeah.
You can't scale for infinite. It's
The problem that the MCU writers face right now.
Stop.
Is he going to prevent her from killing him?
He just did.
Well, he did this the first time around, though, and then ultimately she killed him.
I felt what you feel. You don't want this.
You've been seduced by a throne.
The last thing I want is a throne. Sylvie, stop!
Wow. Mister, I want to be the god of space.
This is kind of like what happened the first time around, though.
Yeah.
Ooh! Brutal.
Sylvie, stop!
Oh, so now he's gonna fight her over and over again.
Yep.
Something's gotta give. Oh!
Why do you never try to stop her? Fight back. Do something.
That's a new trick.
He used the master temp.
Yeah.
How many times have you been at this?
Okay.
Ooh!
Why don't you ever try to
What do you
stop
do?
racing?
Oh, come on. You're not telling me you haven't learned how to pause time.
Mm.
I think you'd be way past that. When the loom is overloaded with branches, it deletes the ones that aren't supposed to be there. And the TVA, well, that's just collateral damage. No biggie. Easy to rebuild.
I'll break your loom.
But the loom prevents a brutal war. Can't you see what I'm offering here is mercy?
For me? Or for you? I'll find another way. Okay.
Make the hard choice. Break the loom and you cause a war that kills us all. Or kill her and we protect what we can.
Then you gotta play out scenes from my whole life, how it's all meant to be.
Okay, looks like someone got a hold of the set list. How are you doing this?
Mobius, I need your help.
And by hard, I mean impossible. No, there's no comfort. You just choose your burden.
So what's the sacrifice he can live with?
Thank you, Mobius.
You know, writers say kill your darlings.
We're outside time. I finally learned to control the time slipping. I'm out of options, Sylvie. I've tried everything. The only way that anything
As
survives...
if I never kill he who remains in the first place. So you have to kill me.
What do I do?
Know that sometimes it's okay to destroy something.
If there's a hope that you can replace that thing with something better.
Loki? What are you doing?
Is he just gonna walk right out there? Okay, we were right about he needs to go.
What's he gonna do? Yeah. But what's he supposed to do?
Holy crap. Alright, it's obviously not affecting him like it would someone else. There go his clothes.
Wow, what a visual.
Holy crap. Oh, he's becoming Loki!
He's becoming like
the god Loki.
Classic god Loki.
Oh, he like shed his skin. That's like a metamorphosis. Yo!
Yes!
He's growing the
horns
horns!
are growing!
Oh my god, dude, this is epic. It's Loki in his final form.
He's apotheosized.
Yes.
He's become the apotheosis of Loki.
Let's go. That's so intense.
Destroy the loom. Bring on the multiversal war.
Oh my god, what a visual.
Wow.
Oh, he looks so badass.
Oh, this is an amazing visual.
He can choose
them back to life.
He can choose to make any branch.
He's bringing all the branches back to life, one at a time.
This is so cool.
This is literally just an entire timeline that he's gripping in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Look at that.
And that affects others, and yeah. Wow.
Whoa. What is happening? Oh my goodness, he's just like grabbed all the timelines.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? Holy shit.
This is epic.
Do all of them gonna light up when he sits down on the throne? Or... Yeah, when he sits down, if they light up, that'll be so sick. Yo! Oh my god.
They're all woven together.
And green now.
It's like a tree.
Yeah. After.
Period. Look, the new poster is like an image of his timeline tree.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, y'all. I'm Miss Minutes.
And are we sure she won't
Try to kill us all?
Don't trust that little.
I don't trust her as far as I can
clock.
throw her.
Your file as
requested.
Oh, is he just checking on himself?
So when we get in there...
Yeah, funny you should mention that, because...
You're leaving.
He's gonna quit.
I've gotta go see what exactly it is we've been protecting for all this time.
But it was his choice. New handbook.
New edition, second edition. Oh, it's Renslayer. She got pruned. So she's in the void, right?
Last time we ran into her. It was a purple light. I bet it was somebody else.
Kang.
Maybe Kang coming.
Purple light, you're right.
Purple light. Wow.
I might just wait here for a little bit. Let time pass.
Wow.
Glorious purpose. Wow, man. What a solid ending with a like the perfect sort of emotional beat to land on.
I thought that was a
end.
beautiful episode, both from a story perspective and visually.
Mm-hmm.
Just like really gorgeous.
Seeing Loki metamorphosize into his final form there is definitely, that was really fulfilling to watch.
Yeah.
Like, not because earlier, I think, was it episode 1 where we saw the horned Loki silhouette on the brick wall as they were like apprehending
when they got Brad.
Yeah. And that was just like, obviously like a foreshadowing of what was to come, obviously.
Literally foreshadowing.
And we obviously had classic Loki in the Void in season 1, which gave you like a little bit, but this was the like, oh my god, he's like a caterpillar, and then he like shed his skin, and it was very much like he became
a butterfly.
Exactly. He like metamorphosized into his final form, and that was just
the
like
whole thing is such an on the surface of it metaphor for the way writers write. I mean, obviously he's the god of stories, so he stands in for the person who's writing this show. He stands in for Stan Lee, stands in for all the people who write the stories that we love. It's elaborate, but it's not a very subtle metaphor. It's a very obvious one. But you think of drafts that you write and then prune, as different timelines. And then characters that you lovingly develop, that you give a life of their own on the page. And then you decide they don't work in the story that you're trying to tell. So you prune them. You kill your darlings. You make the hard sacrifices as a writer. And, you think of your characters as these beings that you have endowed with their own life, with some sort of free will. You think at a certain point of your characters as real people that make decisions of their own, and not as puppets that you're creating in some way. So the whole thing is really a very elaborate but very on the nose metaphor for the writing process. And he's now the writer.
Yeah, and seeing Loki go from a state of uncertainty to a state of like ultimate certainty of being like stepping into his role and the title Glorious Purpose, we really get the benefit of seeing like the full evolution of Loki.
Yeah.
You know, from the beginning all the way until now. And it's he's understandably a god now that has stepped into his role and like earned his place there in terms of his evolution.
Yes.
He didn't just become a king because he wanted to be a king. Like he said like he is a god and this is where he was meant to be in the end.
There was even a line where he said to Sylvie, "The last thing I want is a throne." And you thought, whoa, I thought he wanted to be the god of space, you know? But so he accepts it reluctantly at first, but then increasingly with acceptance. I said at a certain point when he was out on the gangway, I said he's the apotheosis of Loki. He's become the apotheosis of Loki, meaning he's been sort of distilled to his true essence. He's reached his ultimate state.
Yeah. It was funny, like that a couple episodes ago, this Victor Timely getting spaghettified and screaming was the most like horrific thing you can imagine
my
seeing.
jaw literally dropped and I sat here staring at the screen. I couldn't believe what I had watched.
And then in this episode they like managed to like put a comedic spin on it.
I know.
Have it over and over again.
They had to normalize
like,
it by having us watch it again and again and again, which at first was brutal. It felt like
and they
torture.
even added a little variety to it here and there to make it a little bit more like gruesome and you know, it was just they somehow managed to take something that horrific and like spin it into a funny moment over and over and over again. And that was, like I said, kind of reminiscent of Groundhog Day, the whole idea of like reliving the same thing over and over and over again, learning more and more and more each time to the point where you're just like predicting things before they happen, finishing people's sentences for them, you know, everything about everyone and everything. It even said centuries later when they
was
made
a great
joke
little
about
comic gag in the middle there. We laughed.
Yeah, it was almost tongue-in-cheek, kind of like, well, is that just kind of joking? Is it legitimately supposed to be he just, like, spent the equivalent of, like, hundreds of years learning physics and all that stuff? But yeah, that is kind of just like Groundhog Day, and it was effective. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, I loved, it was extremely satisfying at the end when we went back to the sort of new rebuilt TVA, how everything had changed. Like if you looked at the screen, the image was of this sort of tree that he had created. And I like the imagery of it being a tree, which does, it grows up. It's more like alive that way, too. Yeah, it is. It's a living thing. It grows up, it grows down, it branches.
It's like an organism that you have to prune.
It's an organism that you have to prune for its own health now and again. It's a very, very apt, symbol for the timelines, but I liked how everything had kind of switched and you saw that reflected, and then we saw the new handbook, the sort of second edition of the handbook that comes out at the end. And then we got to check in on various people sort of on the timeline. So Mobius watching himself, that was very bittersweet. That was very sort of wistful.
Are we supposed to assume that the second edition of the handbook just includes like what they know about the loom overloading and stuff now, that it's just like
this... I don't know.
Yeah.
I can understand that they'd want to make some updates after all these changes that have occurred.
Yeah. And then they show them Victor Timely again, where it's like, oh, they're gonna update him and give him his new handbook.
I don't know if they need to, because he needed to be part of the process that already happened. He needed to.
Well, at the end there,
I think it was just showing us
Victor Timely was still alive in that group at the end at the TVA. So what happened to Victor Timely? We didn't see him here at the end.
I don't know the answer.
He was still alive.
Maybe they returned him to the timeline. I don't know.
It's interesting because Sylvie is a Loki variant, but like our Loki here just became the god of stories and just like ascended.
Right.
And Sylvie didn't necessarily, he was like, where are you going to go? And, it was basically just sort of like,
her purpose, her glorious purpose is elsewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe she's already fulfilled it.
Which makes me wonder, it's like,
simple
there's a little bit of an open-endedness there. Maybe like we've seen the full evolution of our Loki, but there's still like some loose ends there, like Sylvie.
Yeah. I am inclined to think at the very end there with Ravonna Renslayer that it was Kang who was arriving.
The purple light
was
seems
purple,
pretty,
and he's canonically sort of a purple and blue costume figure.
I hate to kind of start talking about this right now, but I wonder if there may have been more of a Kang reveal there that they sort of backpedaled a little bit.
Yeah,
in order
I don't know.
to wait to see what happens
with the Jonathan Majors situation.
Because if it does go really south, they may want to shift gears.
Right,
and they don't necessarily want to have been like Kang right now.
Right, and then they could always change it and do something. I think that's not a bad guess.
Because that would have
been
kind of, I don't know, that would have been one of those like cliffhanger teases at the end there where you're like, ooh, my God.
Right.
Yeah. But I did like the way it had, like, emotionally, it felt like it kind of wrapped up there. Not necessarily like end, but,
But it felt satisfying.
It felt very satisfying emotionally, yeah.
I will also say that whole episode felt more cinematic to me than half of the cinema that I have seen recently.
Yeah, again, visuals
I have seen
just
cinema
crazy.
recently that frankly was like very pedestrian. This was like a cinematic experience when he's climbing
Loki's
up to the Citadel and he's dragging the timelines behind him.
That was cool.
What a visual. I mean, it was truly an epic visual, an epic story point.
Yeah.
Just absolutely gorgeous.
You could kind of see it coming, but the build-up was great, and the way he just connected all the threads, and then they just,
blossomed.
Came out with green light like that.
Yeah.
That was great. So I wonder, moving forward, how much, if any, we're gonna kind of get in on what Loki does now. Like, as a god, like, are we gonna see him included in anything telling the story, so to speak, or changing the story, or now that he is in this final Loki form and he's evolved into this ultimate version of himself, like, what does he end up like? What now?
Right.
Yeah.
What next?
And I'm not necessarily like hungry to like get that right now, like, because we've just gotten like a really great dose of Loki, and I feel really satisfied.
I do too.
With his story, like, if you told me that's that, like, you just get final Loki, and we're supposed to just, our knowledge of him being in that position now is like, I'd still be satisfied with that.
I agree.
Because he's honestly been one of the strongest characters overall in the MCU, and this has kind of like solidified that. Like, he's one of the most complete characters we have. I mean, obviously there's Tony Stark, and there's a lot of characters in the MCU, but right now, in terms of what we're working with, characters that are still around, like, Loki's at the top of the list.
And as you point out, we've really seen him go through an evolution as a character. Both the OG Loki that was in the movies, we saw him come to a great evolution before he died. He really went through a deep change of heart, change of character, and then this version of Loki also has really been through the ringer and has reached this sort of nirvanic state, this apotheosis of himself. So it's very, very satisfying, and I agree. If that were it, I'd feel like that was a fitting conclusion for his storyline.
Yeah, and I am a little curious now, though, that like if the TVA has like different, like, their readouts, look a little different, and they have like an updated philosophy on like how they do things. Are they still pruning things? Are they or are they like, what's the purpose of a minute?
I think there are details we don't know. Like, as you pointed out, even with a real tree, when you want it to grow and branch, you have to prune it for its own health.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Just the comparing that with like when the loom was there, the threads were like literal threads, which is like a man-made. It's all this like mechanical man-made stuff, but now it's this like organic, tree thing that has it feels and it's alive. Yeah, I like it, guys. I like it. We want to know if you liked it. We want to know what you thought about this episode, and we want to know what you thought about the season as a whole, what you hope might be happening moving forward. Are we going to see any more Loki in upcoming Marvel stuff? I know there's a lot in the pipeline coming forward, but in terms of scheduling, and the SAG-AFTRA thing finally has an end to it, so we might actually be getting back on track and getting what we need to do. I know the Marvels, you just saw that today,
I just saw the Marvels today. I'm not going to provide any spoilers for anybody who wants to see it.
Yeah, but I think it's safe to say probably the mid credit and end credit stuff is probably more important than the movie itself.
Than the movie, I would agree. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. We're excited to get to it. So guys, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to see the reaction fully unedited and watch along style, go over to patreon.com/JediJive. That's where we put them up. We'll see you in the next reaction.
Peace.